Hey everyone, so this will be my last Halloween tutorial and I just decided to do Mermaid, something pretty not gross. And if you want to see how I achieve this beautiful mystical mermaid look, then just keep watching. I'm going to start this look off by priming my face with my Estee Lauder Illuminating Perfecting Primer. And this is just going to give my skin a little bit of a dewy glow, and I really like how it makes my foundation last quite a bit longer, so I decided to go ahead and use this primer for my face. For foundation, I'm just going to use my Nars Sheer Glow on a beauty blender and just pat that into my skin, just using a stippling motion. I really like this foundation because it's great for my dry skin. It doesn't dry it out, it just actually hydrates my skin throughout the day, and I don't have any nasty dry patches on my face after wearing this for a whole night. For my concealer, I'm going to use my Fake Up by Benefit, and this is in the shade 01 Light, and I'm just going to use this, and it comes out like lipstick almost, and I'm just going to put some triangle shapes underneath my eyes to highlight those under eye circles, and on the top of my nose, and use a beauty blender to blend it in. I really like this concealer because it really does illuminate that under eye area and kind of give off like a light and shimmer effect. I also decided to put this on either side of my nostrils because it is really dark there and red, and I just wanted to highlight that and make sure that my skin looked absolutely perfect. To give myself scales, I bought this fishnet stocking at Walmart, and I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and cut those into a nice square piece so that way I can put it onto my face and then pat the eyeshadow on top, and you'll see what I mean once we keep going. I decided to stretch out the fishnet before I put it on my face, just to make it look like the scales were a little bit bigger and not so small, little beady. I then wanted to figure out where I wanted my scales, and here I just have them pinned back with some hair clips, and this is how I kept it on my face. I'm now going to take my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, and I'm just applying this to the areas that I'm going to apply my eyeshadow, and this is just going to make the colors stand out a little bit more and make them a little more vibrant. I'm now taking my first edition palette from BH Cosmetics on a MAC 217 brush, and I'm just going to take this dark purple that's got a bit of a shimmer to it, and I'm just going to stretch the fishnet kind of back a little bit further to make the scales appear bigger, and brush that purple onto my forehead to give myself the scales. I'm now taking a shimmery blue color, and I'm going to do the same thing on the same MAC 217 brush that I was using before, and just kind of putting that underneath where the purple is and blending that in together. I'm now going to move my fishnet off of my face onto a different part because I didn't want all the scales to be all in one spot, and I wanted to have them kind of throughout my face so it didn't look like it was so concentrated in just one area. Here I'm just doing the same thing as I was before, using the same purple and the same blue, just putting it on a different part of my face. As you can see, the final product of the scales turned out to be really pretty and really cool. I also decided to add a little bit of scales on my chest. It didn't turn out as great as it did on my face. I think I should have stretched it out a little bit more because the scales looked really tiny and kind of clumped together, and they didn't really look defined. Just kind of looked like a smeared bit on my chest, but oh well. To start my eyes off, I'm going to use Maybelline's Color Tattoo, and this is in the color Tenacious Teal. And I'm just using my finger to apply this to my entire eyelid. For this look, I wanted my eyes to stand out and be the center of attention on my face, so I really packed on the colors and made them really bright and vibrant. Originally, I messed up by putting the blue on the inner corner of my eye, but I ended up liking how it went, so I just added it to the other one. I'm now using Revlon's Creme eyeshadow palette, and this is the palette called Eternal Summer. And I'm just using this orange color and putting it in the crease of my eyes, and it kind of went a little bit of a greeny color, but it turned out to be really, really pretty. To apply this, I'm just using a tapered eyeshadow brush. I'm now taking Revlon's Cream Shadow, and this is the palette called Wild Orchids. And I'm just applying that to the outer half of my eyelid, and I'm using the same tapered eyeshadow brush that I was using previously. I really like these cream eyeshadows, but you had to be careful you didn't kind of smudge them and pull them off, so you had to keep going back in and rebuilding up the color again. I'm now taking my Maybelline Eyestudio palette, and this is called Sapphire Siren. And I'm taking the last color, which is the shimmery black at the edge, and I'm using a tapered eyeshadow brush just to apply a wing on the outer edge of my eyes, as you can see. And I'm just also bringing that into the crease to just kind of darken it up and give it some more dimension. To get the perfect shape, I just kind of kept smudging this and blending this into my eye to give it the shape that I wanted for my wing, and it also ended up looking cool because it was kind of ombre, went from black to purple to blue, so that was neat too. Going back to my BH palette, I'm using this teal color. Using an eyeshadow brush, I'm going to put this on the edge of my nose and where I would normally contour, and I'm actually going to really focus the color on the end of my nose and then kind of fade the color up into my brow bone. I wanted my scales to look a little more shimmery, so I'm taking this gold color in my BH palette and using a MAC 217 brush, I'm just kind of dusting that across, and you can actually see on the camera where it starts to shimmer a little bit more and look a little more like scales. Be careful you're not pressing too hard while doing this because you don't want to blend your scales in together or you won't have any skin breaks. I also decided to put the gold color just in the center of my nose and also on my brow bone where I would normally highlight. Now this is a really cool product. This is City Colors White Gold, and I got this in my Ipsy bag one month, and I'm just using my Sigma E05 brush. And I'm just applying this to my lower lash line and then winging that out and dragging this underneath the wing that I've already created with the black eyeshadow. I absolutely adore this product. Once I got myself able to use it properly, because it does kind of clump up and you need to smudge it out and blend it, it works beautifully and it really, really added a lot to my look. I also went ahead and added this product to my Cupid's bow to make my lips look more full. I put it down the center of my nose as well because the original gold dusting of the eyeshadow that I used just didn't seem to be shimmery enough to me. And neither did my brow bone, so I went ahead and added it up there as well. I noticed that when I had applied the product, it had smudged under my eyes a little bit, so I just took a Q-tip just to clean up that wing a little bit. I'm now taking the whitest color in my BH palette, and I'm going to put this on the inner corner of my eyes using my MAC 217 brush just to lighten this up. For blush, I'm using my Stila's Convertible color for dual lip and cheek cream. This is in the color Peony, and I'm just taking this on my finger and tapping that and stippling it into my skin to make my cheeks look nice and rosy. I'm now using my Revlon Colorstay liquid liner, and this is in the color Black Brown. I'm just going to line my upper lashes, and I'm going to wing out that liner as well. This is definitely the go-to liquid eyeliner that I use. I prefer a felt tip, but you could go ahead and use whatever you have at home to use this look. I felt like my under eyes were getting a little bit dark from putting all this different color on it, so I just went ahead and brightened it up again with my beauty blender, and I just put on some concealer on the end of this. I'm taking the same white color that I used for my BH palette before, and I'm putting that in between the two wings that I added just to define them a little more. Going back to the Sapphire Siren by Maybelline, I'm going to use that white color and put it over top of the BH white that I just put in there because it wasn't white enough to me. Before applying mascara, I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes, and I'm using my Tarte Lights Camera Splashes mascara, and I'm pretty sure this is kind of standard and everyone already knows how to apply mascara, so I'm just putting that on my eyelashes. To fill in my brows, I'm going to go ahead and brush out my eyebrows, and I'm just going to use an eyeshadow to fill them in as I usually do, and I'm using MAC's Omega eyeshadow. I went ahead and applied some false eyelashes, and these are Ardell's Natural Collection, and these are the number 102. I wanted to make my lips look really different, so I decided I wanted to make them purple, and I didn't have a purple liner, so I just used NYX eyebrow pencil, and this is in the color Lavender Glitter, to line my lips. To make my lips look a little more full, I actually overdrew my top lip a little bit, just enough to add some more thickness, but not enough that it looks obvious, and I lined my bottom lip the same as it is, just because it's a little bit thicker than my top one. I also decided to fill in my lips with this color. For lipstick, I use Revlon's Color Burst Lip Butter, and this is in the color Gumdrop, and I just applied it like you would with any type of lipstick. I felt like my eyes looked a little bit bare, so I decided to apply some mascara to my bottom lashes. Now, any mermaid wouldn't be a mermaid if she didn't have a little bit of bling, so I just used these, actually they're scrapbooking stickers from Walmart that I purchased, and they worked great. I just used a little bit of eyelash glue on them, and I applied those to my face. You, of course, could use rhinestones, which I probably should have done, but I actually couldn't find them anywhere, so I thought these would do, and they worked perfect, so yeah. So here's the finished look of the makeup, and we're just going to go ahead and move on to hair. I'm going to go ahead and use my New Me Lustrum set that I got, and this is perfect. I love this thing, and I'm using the kind of funky looking barrel, and I just put that on and turned it on and waited for it to heat up. And while I was waiting, I decided to go ahead and put in some earrings because I thought I needed a little bit more bling bling. To start my hair off, I decided to spray a little bit of heat protectant throughout my whole hair. So I just put my hair up into sections, and then I took a section of hair at a time and wrapped that around the barrel, waited approximately 10 seconds, and then when I let it go, let it sit in my hand for another 10 seconds to cool, and then continued on with the rest of my head. Now, typically most mermaids have long, beautiful waves, but since my hair isn't that long anymore, I thought I still wanted to go curly, and I decided that it would look cool anyways if I just made it really curly and really pretty. So I just kept going with the hair, continuing in sections and curling that around the wand, and then going ahead and tweaking them if any of them needed to be recurled, or if they fell out, or if there was like little straggly pieces, because I always end up with some straggly piece somewhere that isn't curled. I also kind of finger combed my hair and pulled a little bit at the hair to make them look like they weren't so wound up. So So this is the finished look. I by no means created the mermaid look. I know there's been lots done, but I thought I would do my own little take on this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and maybe found something helpful or found something new to do, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.